We must sell over 200 vehicles immediately. And to do it, we'll pay a minimum. Are you ready? Bennett's paying a minimum $10,000 for any trade, running or not, toward any pre-owned vehicle in our huge inventory. I repeat, you'll get a minimum 10 grand for any trade, even the worst rusted, busted rat trap. Just get it to Bennett Chevy now, because it's worth at least $10,000 today. Just imagine how much you're going to get if you have a good trade. Bennett Chevy must blow out truckloads of the all-new Chevy Silverado at thousands below MSRP. Yes, thousands below sticker. And every other new Chevy will be sold at MSRP, not a penny more. There's available 0% financing. Plus, there's never any hassles, because Bennett Chevy's non-commissioned sales team is paid on your satisfaction, not how much you spend. Find new roads at Bennett Chevy, Egg Harbor Township, and BennettChevy.com.
Sports is what we do.
You're in your car, you're in your house, you're wherever you are. You're a sports fan.
97.3 ESPN.
Because if you weren't a sports fan, you wouldn't be listening.
WENJ HD, Millville, Atlantic City. A town square media station serving all of South Jersey. This is Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app. Now, live from the Matt Black Kia Studios.
Oh, what a move!
Here's Josh Hennig.
The first Eagles roster of the 2020 NFL season was released today. But it won't be the last one you see before opening day. I can promise you that. Josh Hennig here on Game Night 97.3 ESPN FM, 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. I'll run down some of the key points to keep an eye on with the Eagles roster in just a few minutes. Plus, we'll talk some NFL season outlook in college football today at 6:20 with Dave Sharapan, the Sportsbook Consigliere, will join me live from Las Vegas. And, of course, you guys join the conversation as well. 609-403-0973 is the text board. You can also DM the show through the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. I will start here with the Eagles news that came out today. When I saw that Anthony Harris was released, my first instinct was I was concerned. My concerns were about 30 minutes later abated when they traded for Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. It was a wave of emotions because it's not that I think Anthony Harris is anything special. Because he's really not. He's a guy, right? But the bigger deal for me, looking at this Eagles roster, as I told you guys before, I have had concerns about the safety position. And Chauncey Gardner-Johnson is not one of the 3 or 5 best safeties in the NFL today, okay? We're not delusional when we are complimenting him. But what he is a guy who he's a major upgrade over what you've had the last couple of years. Ever since you saw that, let me go back to this. Ever since Malcolm Jenkins left, this organization has been trying to salvage that safety position. Remember, they tried Jalen Mills out there. They brought in Anthony Harris. They've been trying different things, and it's just not working. So at some point along the line, it's a matter of you had to get serious if you were trying to win games this year. You had to get serious about what this all means. And I think the Eagles finally got serious. The Eagles finally got legitimately serious about the position. So for me, I love the acquisition of Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. He's a versatile safety. He's a guy who has shown a high aptitude of playing both safety, nickel corner, box corner, coverage corner, zone, man coverage. He does a little everything. But the bigger thing is this guy was born to play in Philadelphia. I know you Philly fans. I'm from South Philly. I know what this is all about. You love a guy who is the villain of everyone in the league. You love the trash talker. You love it when the guy that everyone hates becomes your anti-hero. And that's who Chauncey Gardner is. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson is a guy who other people don't like. We've all, I know the clip of the Saints-Bears game from Monday Night Football has been circulating online when he got in that fight. He's an agitator. He's a guy that get under people's skin. He's a guy that people, they're not scared of him in terms of he's the biggest hitter. They're not worried about him in terms of he's the best safety. Coaches are concerned when Chauncey Gardner-Johnson's on the other side of the field because they're worried is their guy's mental capacity strong enough to handle this guy's trash talk. This guy is going to get under people's skin. He's going to trash every receiver in this division verbally, any chance he can get. He is a player who is utterly unafraid of the moment. So I think this was a very smart move by Howie Roseman. I said previously to you guys here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN, Josh Hennig hanging out with you on a Tuesday night. I told you guys before, Howie Roseman is closed-lipped. He is not a guy who lets people know what is in his hand at the poker table. And I think Howie did an incredible job at positioning the Eagles to get a major upgrade with Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. All right? So that's the first thing with the Eagles today. The second thing that the Eagles did when they announced their 53-man roster was keeping Jalen Reagor. Now, you heard yesterday Rob Maaddi talk about how he thought it was the best thing to keep Reagor because he's still a weapon that can be used. In my opinion, I think the Eagles kept Reagor because they're not going to trade him for a bag of footballs. They're not trading him for athletic tape. They're going to trade him for a valuable enough asset. Otherwise, they're going to use him. And I think that them keeping him and releasing Britton Covey is a clear signal that they are going to move forward with Reagor as kick punt return guy unless somebody comes around the corner after 12 o'clock tomorrow and gives the Eagles something big. And the reason why I say 12 o'clock tomorrow is because 12 o'clock tomorrow is when all the waiver claims clear from the league. So all the guys the Eagles waived today, all the guys who got released in the last couple of days, they are all going to clear waivers tomorrow at 12. And that's when we find out who the next wave of players who may or may not be on this team moving forward are. Tomorrow we may find out that, as I told you guys yesterday, the safety from the Ravens, the veteran Jefferson, Tony Jefferson was released yesterday. He may be an Eagle tomorrow. And you may see another guy cut from this team as a result. Right now, Josh Jobe and Josiah Scott are both dealing with injuries. They could be put on the short-term injured reserve list, opening up a roster spot to bring in Jefferson, to maybe bring back some of the guys who were waived. I think Reagor is a sign that Howie Roseman is not going to take somebody else's trash for a guy that he thinks that has value. Now, whether Howie's right or wrong, we can argue till we're all blue in the face and we lose our minds. But the reality is that Howie Roseman found the way to get rid of J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. He used the draft pick that he acquired in the Hugo Amadi trade to get Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. So he's not the GM from draft day when Kevin Costner calls the Jags and finds this frantic guy. No, Howie Roseman thinks he's Kevin Costner calling the inexperienced GM trying to rip off everybody else in the league. And I don't think Howie is going to let somebody rip him off for JJ Arcega-Whiteside, for Jalen Reagor, for Andre Dillard, or for any of these guys that Eagle fans want traded. The reality is that the Eagles are trying to build a strong roster. Now, with that being said, a couple other notes and items about who did or didn't make the team. Number one, Greg Ward going to the reserve injured list. Pretty much his season looks like it may be done, or he may be designated to return later this year, but it looks like his year may be done. If that's the case, then there's a chance you could see Greg Ward in the Eagles uniform in 2023. Of the guys who were released today that I don't think will be back, I think one is LaRaven Clark. There's a lot of speculation that he's going to land in Dallas because his offensive line coach from previous stops in the NFL is now the O-line coach in Dallas. I would be very surprised if Deon Cain makes it through waivers. I think he showed out very well in the preseason, and I think that if the Eagles could have, they would have kept him. You know, if this was maybe a 60-man roster to that 53-man, I think Deon Cain would be there. I wouldn't be surprised if Richard Rodgers is not back, only because of the fact that there are a lot of teams that need tight end help, and I could definitely see him latching on with somebody, particularly the Packers with all the young guys they have in Green Bay. I could totally see him making a return there. Jaquiski Tartt made some very interesting comments on Twitter in the last 24 hours. He has insinuated that, he basically insinuated, and I'm not trying to put words in the guy's mouth, but he basically made it sound like on Twitter that the likelihood of him coming back to the Eagles in an after 48-hour period or going back to San Francisco is very unlikely. I don't know if he has ill feelings for the 49ers, if he felt he had a bad experience in Philadelphia, but he's making it sound like he's got some pretty hard feelings against the Eagles and the 49ers right now. I think Devin Allen lands on the Eagles practice squad. I really do. I don't think it's a coincidence they used him as a special teams gunner in that last preseason game. I think that the idea was all along that if the Eagles traded Jalen Reagor, that either Covey or Allen would land on this roster. But as soon as they realized that Reagor wasn't going to be traded, they released Allen sooner, and then they released Covey. They waived them both. And I think if the Eagles get their way, both Allen and Covey will be on the practice squad if they both clear waivers. I'm personally surprised that Jack Anderson did not make this roster. He plays center and guard. Without Jack Anderson, that means that your only legitimate centers on this team are Kelsey and Jurgens. And I know the Eagles expect Kelsey to be ready to go week 1 of this season, which is still not unreasonable, but I assume that they like versatile guys. A lot of people who cover the Eagles are surprised that Josh Sills is on the roster, but they explained the press conference today that because Sills can play guard and tackle, they found value in that. I'm just curious to find out who is going to be the emergency center. Are they looking at Sayamalu and Dickerson as two guys who played center in college as now the third string center, and that's why they felt Anderson was expendable? Maybe. I know that Jack Driscoll has had some injury issues during his short NFL career and his college career. So maybe they look at Josh Sills as if Jack Driscoll gets injured, he becomes the next Jack Driscoll in line. So maybe that's the theory. Jason Huntley, if he doesn't get picked up by somebody, I would be surprised. I think that he has a lot of value for an NFL team. I think Jacoby Stevens lands on the practice squad. I think he's a guy the Eagles would have liked to keep. Again, I go off the theory, if it was a 60-man roster instead of a 53-man, I think some of these guys would still be here. And instead of trying to get him to the practice squad, I think Andre Sacheret ends up with another team because I think he's got a lot of value as a special teams guy. So those are my initial thoughts on the Eagles roster. Again, it's the first roster of the 2022 NFL season. It is not the final roster because there is a larger speculation from a lot of people who know more about these things than I do that the Eagles are not done making moves, and neither are other teams around the league. So there's a strong possibility that the team that is the quote-unquote 53-man right now will not be the 53 guys who are going to be in Detroit week 1 of the NFL season. We'll talk more NFL and college football on the other side with the Sportsbook Consigliere Dave Sharapan here on Game Night with me, Josh Hennig, on 97.3 ESPN FM and 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle.
The best way to wake up is with Keyshawn, Jay, Will, and Max. Weekday mornings at 6 on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
Ocean Casino Resort is the ultimate fantasy draft party spot. Go for the bragging rights this fantasy football season and plan your draft party at Top Golf. Each party receives a dedicated VIP draft space or private bay at Top Golf for up to 4 hours, an ocean draft board, swag bag, championship trophy, and more. Your fantasy football season starts here at Ocean Casino Resort. For more details, visit theoceanac.com. Go to Ocean. Go for the win. Let's go! Must be 21 or older to wager or consume alcohol. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Long weekends are all about getting a little you time. And at the Home Depot, you time means you building, you drilling, you doing, you recharging, you saving, and you going back for more. Do Labor Day your way and get a free 18-volt battery with select Milwaukee Power Toolkit purchases at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
97.3 ESPN and TracFone Wireless want to share ideas with you for enjoying the great outdoors in South Jersey. Here are some popular outdoor ideas this spring. How about taking a walk on the Ocean City, Atlantic City, or Wildwood boardwalks? Or check out the perfect place to watch a sunset. How about the Point in Longport or the Cove in Brigantine? Brought to you by TracFone Wireless. Now you're in control.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Thinking about gas mileage. An oil change with quality oil like Castrol Edge Full Synthetic can help your engine get more out of every tank. Right now, you can get 5 quarts with an STP Extended Life oil filter for only $37.99. Get what you need for better fuel efficiency at any of our 6,200 stores or on AutoZone.com.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Staples has everything for school at great prices. So this year you won't go back to school. You'll be ready to move forward and master 5th grade math.
I can't do this. It's impossible.
Not you, Dad, your daughter. Staples will help her move forward.
Right.
Right now, Staples comp books and number 2 pencils are just 50 cents each. Plus, 2 pocket paper folders are only 25 cents each. Everything on your list at amazing prices. Staples, we're not going back. We're going forward to school. Ends 9/3 in store only, limit 30.
Good news, New Jersey. More residents are getting quality, affordable health coverage through Get Covered New Jersey. Established by Governor Murphy, Get Covered New Jersey offers increased plan choices and more savings than ever. If you recently had a life event such as marriage, pregnancy, or insurance loss, you may qualify to enroll now. 9 in 10 enrolling get financial help for plans that include preventive care, prescriptions, and more. And if you meet certain income levels, you may qualify for low to no-cost coverage. Find your plan at getcovered.nj.gov.
I did a site visit and the space is absolutely incredible.
Estate's Reiki Clinic is opening another studio across town.
But there's a lot to wrap up.
But staffing an entire office requires more than just deep breathing.
Receptionist and at least 4 new practitioners.
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Something you probably do know. Progressive can not only offer you a great price when you bundle home and auto, they offer you round-the-clock protection. Something you probably don't know, the average garage door is made up of 1.3 millimeter aluminum panels. Something you probably do know, your neighbor likes to tinker with his dirt bike. Something you probably don't know, a runaway dirt bike can take out your garage door and a good portion of your car bumper. Bundle your home and auto with Progressive and get more than a great price. Get round-the-clock protection. Something you know for the things you don't know. Coverage from Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers, and subject to policy terms. Bundle discount not available in all states or situations.
Explore Banana Republic Factory now and enjoy 50% off everything from heritage classics to new arrivals for the season. Discover essential styles from $24.99. Find your nearest store or shop online only at Banana Republic Factory.
With GMO financing approved credit excludes Corvette and prior sales. What you're about to hear may sound unbelievable, but every word is true. Bennett Chevrolet must clear our lot, so we must sell over 200 vehicles immediately. And to do it, we'll pay a minimum, are you ready? Bennett's paying a minimum $10,000 for any trade, running or not, towards any pre-owned vehicle in our huge inventory. I repeat, you'll get a minimum 10 grand for any trade, even the worst rusted, busted rat trap. Just get it to Bennett Chevy now, because it's worth at least $10,000 today. Just imagine how much you're going to get if you have a good trade. Bennett Chevy must blow out truckloads of the all-new Chevy Silverado at thousands below MSRP. Yes, thousands below sticker. And every other new Chevy will be sold at MSRP, not a penny more. There's available 0% financing. Plus, there's never any hassles because Bennett Chevy's non-commissioned sales team is paid on your satisfaction, not how much you spend. Find new roads at Bennett Chevy, Egg Harbor Township, and BennettChevy.com.
You're listening to Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
Talk a little NFL, a little college football now. Of course, you see him on the locker room on the weekends here on 97.3 ESPN. He is back for another edition here on Game Night, the final Tuesday of the month of August. We are just a week and a couple of days away from the start of the NFL season, just days away from what is technically week 2 of the college football season, but apparently it's week 1 because college football is so obsessed with calling it week 0. Dave Sharapan is back live from Vegas here on 97.3 ESPN. Dave, how's it going?
Great, Josh. Good to see you. Let Billy know everything's, okay. So everything's fine in the locker room on the weekends, but for those of us working during the week, it's good to see you. Good to be here. You're starting stuff, though, if you're going to start changing the way we count the weeks of college football. I mean, it's week 0. They said it's week 0. Don't start calling it week 1 and then week 2. It's very confusing. Can you imagine Billy flipping through the newspaper right now trying to figure out what week it is? That's bad. We don't need that.
Yeah, well, they do the same thing in high school football. They call it week 0 now in high school football.
They do?
They do. In our area, yeah. We just had high school football this past weekend.
Come on.
They
called it week 0?
It's technically week 0.
I mean, the people back east, I mean, I figured that, between Pennsylvania and New Jersey, they had it on lock. I would respect.
Come on, we're not Texas, man. We're not that on top of things.
Were they calling it week 0 in Texas too? Don't tell me that.
I don't think they are now.
No, it's week 1. That's what we're talking about. Come on.
I'm just saying. So let me ask you, do you take anything away from the first official weekend of the college football season? Or you kind of just roll back to, well, that was a bunch of interesting games?
Option number 2. You take a couple things away. I mean, every game is a little more information, a little more education.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my first takeaway was Nebraska. That number was bad. It was high. I mean, it got a lot of people. They but you can't say oh, they're going to win 3 games. I mean, there's a natural overreaction oh, they're terrible. They keep losing 1-score games. That's the pattern that you need to recognize. And, for people that maybe had Nebraska or are Nebraska fans, I wouldn't feel good about it. I'm not ready to, they're ready to fire the coach and all that other stuff. Relax. But I mean, for the rest of it, the only other real takeaway that I got was maybe UConn is going to be a little more competitive than years past. And maybe Hawaii's going to be lucky to cover a spread all season like that. That looked like a dumpster fire, Josh. I don't know. I mean, Vanderbilt looked like Alabama, scoring all those points that game flying over. It'd be one of those things I'd be in a room going, boy, So this Hawaii number is going to be tough to make every week. Like, I mean, how many points are you going to have to put out there to get somebody to bet Hawaii, at least right now? So, yeah, you can make overreactions. But I think you need to just basically make data points, educate yourself, and move forward.
I mean, look, I'll admit it. I went 4-3 on Saturday.
There you go.
I got the the Nebraska spread right because I went Northwestern went the other way. My theory was, I didn't think they were going to win, Dave. I just thought they would cover the 13 because of Pat Fitzgerald. So I wasn't that special in my prediction.
Right.
I mean, I thought the Hawaii game would go over, and it did because I thought Hawaii's defense stunk. I just didn't think Timmy Chang's offense was going to stink that bad. I mean, I don't know who that quarterback is before Saturday, but he got to go, Dave. They got to send him to the bench. They got to call Timmy Chang's nephew or somebody because that guy was making decisions that weren't even business decisions, Dave.
Yeah, that's another takeaway you get. I mean, the takeaway is that Hawaii doesn't really look like they're going to be competitive with what they put on the field. And again, I don't want to make snap judgments, but you're right. There's a lot of things that went on Saturday night. I mean, I quit watching once it got really ridiculously out of hand and it looked like the total was going to go over. So didn't watch it all the way through, but I saw enough to go, Hawaii's a bet against until further notice.
Yeah, I suffered the whole way through. But part of that was because I had the CBS Sports Network back to back that I was watching because I got the bad beat from the Charlotte FAU game, which was my other loss. I mean, literally, they are on track. Like, how you watch a game, Dave. You're looking at it and you're like, all right, well, if they scored this much at halftime, that means they'll probably score about that much in the second half. And you think they're going to hit the over. And the whole game, they're on track to hit the over. Yep. And in the fourth quarter, Charlotte and FAU looked at each other and just said, truce. We're not going to score any more points. And I'm just sitting there thinking, all I needed was another touchdown. Yep. And you would have hit the over. And both sides just decided to do almost like a kneel down for the final 10 minutes of the game. I was like, come on.
8 minutes. Yeah. Yeah, that happens. That's why there's in-game betting. Josh, you got to see that number and jump in there and go, you know what? They ain't scoring a game. Give me an under right here. Take your shot that way to kind of, I talk about it all the time, when we mentioned on the Saturdays briefly, but on all the other shows and stuff, I'm on like the in-game betting can be used to get you off of bad positions, losing bets, as well as accentuate good positions, or maybe create middles that you have great positions. So there's a lot of usefulness for it. But like if you just prefer to just be watching a game, I know you like to, partake on the weekends. It's beach clubs and foo-foo drinks with umbrellas in them and all that other stuff. I see you out and about. I mean, on the social media, just on the social media. I'm not there in New Jersey, not yet. But
you're not
just out and about and, you're watching, it's painful. I mean, welcome back football season. Everybody wanted football. Let's get football back. Let's have football back. And then you get football back and you're like, man, how did they not score? I had the over. I only need. This is part of the deal.
Right. It's part of the love-hate relationship.
Right.
What were your thoughts on Marcus Freeman, the Notre Dame head coach? Apparently, there's some people who don't know he's the Notre Dame head coach. I found that out today.
Yeah.
Marcus Freeman, when he was asked by the media about his team being an underdog, he said, thanks, I'm going to write down that 17.5, and tell the guys about it during practice tomorrow.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on that whole situation? Because this is the first top 10 matchup of the year, Dave, and it's a 17-point spread at almost every book.
Yeah. Ohio State is a juggernaut. And it doesn't really matter who they play, but when they play a high-profile opponent and it's a big spread, the book has to find a number that at least somebody's going to take Notre Dame. They haven't found it yet. It's 17.5. Now, Freeman may want to take it into the locker room, but it ain't like anybody in the locker room is going to bet it because, mostly they're probably underage and they probably should be betting. But it's a good introduction to, I think, and we're in the content space now. I was in the books for decades. It was probably discussed before, but you'd be surprised how little it was discussed. What is the point spread? I've talked to a lot of former players and stuff. Like, we didn't look at that stuff. I was doing a
Mhm.
job. I was trying to win the game. I didn't care what the spread was. I never did. So you get that. But now you got a guy acknowledging what the spread is. I just hope it's not like, down 20 and he kicks a field goal to go down 17 late in the fourth quarter or something, because then he's going to be accused of covering the spread, not trying to win a game and things like that. That's where
Right.
I think we get a little too close. But listen, I like the guy. I love what he's doing and trying to, motivate the kids and, create the hype. I hope it's a good game for the Big Ten. I hope it's a good game for Notre Dame. I hope it's a good game, because good games generate action. We used to say this in the book. A lot of times it didn't matter who won or lost. We just needed good games. There's a lot of bad games on Saturday. There's
always bad games.
There's a lot of bad games. Some better games on Thursday, but anything to generate interest is good. And I mean, if Notre Dame can pull off an upset, for the Penn State people, take down Ohio State right off the beginning, that would be kind of fun too. But I don't think Ohio State's going to lose that football game.
So then I'll ask you, Sportsbook Consigliere Dave Sharapan, live from Vegas here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN. You can follow him on Twitter at SportsBKConsig. Dave, I will ask you this. What is the better bet? Is it Notre Dame the cover 17.5? Or is it the over 59.5 for the game?
First thought, comparing those two, I love to play the totals. Because sometimes the numbers are so good, and I don't know if they're good yet. In September, I don't think the numbers are that great. Like, they get better as we go. You give odds makers
more information,
the numbers get better, power ratings get tighter, and then all of a sudden the games are falling within a score of the number or falling right on the number, which they do a lot less than people think. Like, the numbers, don't forget, Nebraska was minus 13 close, and they lost the game. So for every good one that falls 3, there's another one that's not even close. I think I like the total in that game better than I like the side. And over, you got to look at things like team totals, kind of do the math problem. What is that? 39-20, 59, 38-20, somewhere in that neighborhood. That's where the spread is, 17.5, close to 18.
Mm-hmm.
So 38-20, if you try to fall on numbers that actually happen, 38-21 would be 59. That's 17. Does Notre Dame score more than 21 points against Ohio State? That's ultimately the question that gets you your total. They got to score 20 points plus. If they score less, I don't think it gets there.
Yeah, I have a lot of questions about Ohio State's defense, so I would be inclined to say yes for me.
Right.
Now, I know that, some people might not agree with that because some people will point to, well, Brian Kelly's not there anymore. Marcus Freeman's a defensive coordinator becoming a head coach. What does he know about offense? Blah, blah, blah. So it kind of depends on the perspective you come from. With that being said, though, to stay in the Big Ten, the game is going to happen before the next time I see you, Dave, is going to be on Thursday. Is that the Big Ten game? You mentioned that school earlier. Penn State, Purdue. Now, folks can hear that game here on 97.3 ESPN on Thursday night. That is a number that, Dave, my immediate thought is duck and run, because anytime I see a Thursday night 3.5 point spread at every book, that to me is a don't touch, leave it alone, don't get yourself in trouble.
It is, but keep this in mind. In college, the 3 isn't as powerful as the NFL. So don't sweat laying 3 and 3.5 nearly as much as you do in the NFL. I don't think so. But this game stands to be close. I'm a Penn State alum. Saw a lot of great games there. Saw a few games on the road. Been to see Penn State get housed in the Rose Bowl a couple times too. But I did see them beat Oregon back in 1993 when Kajana took it to the house on the first play. So I was there for that as well. As a Penn State guy, I'm a little worried about the game, Josh, for sure. Worried about it.
You should be.
Scream stay away sidewise. I feel like that's a dead under. I feel like I just don't know. First 1 to 28 wins, but I don't think the other team gets there. I don't think we're going to see a 38-28 shootout.
Yeah.
I can't believe this total is this high for Penn State Big Ten conference game to open the season. It's not going to be like Wisconsin Penn State was, where it was just a nonstop turnover fest and running the ball dead under. I expect both teams to pass. But the first game out of the gate, it feels a little bit high. I think under's the best play. Sidewise, I still haven't determined. I was on with Matt today on Bostonian versus the book. He really likes Penn State. He's been running kind of hot lately. So take that for what it's worth. Maybe Penn State is the side.
My only concern is because first of all, I agree with you on the under. You know, some of these books are 53.5 right now. It's absolutely, absolutely wild. By the way, nice hat change in the middle of the segment there.
See that?
Very smooth operation you got going on over there, Dave.
Trying my best.
Here's the thing, though. Like, Purdue lost their 2 best offensive players from last year.
Yep.
And there's still a 3.5 difference between them. Meanwhile, Penn State's returning what? Like almost their entire offense, it seems like. It feels like this game, I can't take a side. Like, it's a game that I feel like you're going to get bit. And I'm with you. I like the under because I don't think Purdue's going to score much. And I don't know what Penn State's going to do because, frankly, Clifford's an odd guy to keep track of.
Oh, it feels like he's been there forever. So, I mean, you have experience at the quarterback position. But, you lost some key pieces. And, I mean, I've seen this before under Franklin where the first game, it's a lot of working things out, whether they're big favorites against like Akron at home and they don't cover.
Or that Penn game.
Penn? When did they play Penn?
Didn't they play Penn years ago and it was like a really close game?
I don't remember them playing in Ivy League school, Josh. We would have to Google that. I'm not sure. But they seem to not start slow. I don't want to say that. It's just disjointed. There's a lot of things happening where it's I've seen them lose games to start the season that they should have won or barely cover. I don't think they're blowing anybody out. A blowout either way here would surprise me. I'm expecting a close game. So, like I said, sometimes in a book, you look at a number and you go, I'm good. Like that's just a good number. Like I'm stopped. I'm going to look at something else. I mean, we can go to the other side of the state and go West Virginia and Pitt. That's going to be a good game. That number's on the move. That's 7.5, 8. If you like laying, big numbers, you could take Minnesota minus 36.5 against New Mexico State. So there's a lot of options on Thursday.
What are your thoughts on all that movement? Because anytime I see a number move a lot, I have questions.
Like what? What would be your first question?
Well, my first question is, did a bad guy show up and just drop a tunnel on something and that's why it moved?
Possibly.
I want to know, is the public betting something versus the sharps and that's why it's moving? You'll have one book right now is at 8, one book's at 7.5, one book's at 8.5, one book's at 7. When you see that much variety, I just start having questions.
That variety is good. Back in the day, between the neighborhood guys where you lived, some of the offshore places where the far islands where I lived at one point, and now with books everywhere in states all over, there should be variety. The questions for me is when the line's the same everywhere and nothing's happening. As an odds maker, it's okay to, move the number. That means you're taking bets and people have opinions. When you stymie everybody with a number like you did with Penn State, Purdue, now you just got to hope you get enough action to kind of have a decision or balance it, whatever your goal is. Public doesn't move the number ever. So you can remove that from your list of questions. The number of bets, the amount of money for most books can be 90% to 10. And you could need a game for X. If one guy comes in and bets the other side, it's going to move against the public. It doesn't matter. So don't worry about the public, Josh. like I like to call them, the rhombuses and the parallelograms. Don't worry about all that. Don't think too much. You can get paralysis by analysis. Pick your game, go with it. If it moves against you, that's when I'd be a little worried. That's when I might have questions. If it moves with you, that probably means you're on that side. They don't win every day, though, either. So that's where don't worry about all that other stuff. Just pick the game.
By the way, I finally found I was completely off on the school. So back in 2015, they lost the opening game of the season to Temple. And James Franklin said after the game, I'm reading it, quote, "We didn't realize they were that good, and that was my fault," unquote.
Well, he was in a good position then. He could take the heat for everybody, and he's in a good position now, and he could take the heat for everybody. He better not be shopping around his services to USC or anybody else. You don't have to worry about that. He better be worried about Purdue and, running the ball and controlling the clock, ideally to keep the game under, but also to win the game. Can't lose the first game, Josh. You just can't lose the first game. It makes the rest of the season, especially when it's a conference game, kind of a downer. Not ready for that.
I got to say, I did not realize that Franklin had been there since 2014.
How about that, right?
I mean, just thinking about that longevity, I thought Bill O'Brien was there for more than 2 years. I mean, wow.
No, Bill got the call back to the NFL. That's what he was, O'Brien was going back to the NFL.
Yeah, well, now he's back in college anyway.
Well, kind of traded away all his best players and kept doing a lot of things. And then the other situation in Houston he got out of there before the fire was over. The house was on fire. He got out of there before it burned down.
Bill O'Brien currently is at the rehabilitation school for failed head coaches down in Alabama. So,
did you dub it that? I never heard that before, but I kind of like it.
I stole it from somebody, but I don't remember who it was. So I would give him credit.
Hey, that's what everybody's doing in this space right now. Anyway, everybody misremembers where they got to stuff.
You hear something, you see something, and that's pretty cool. And then, like a month later, you remember it. And you're like, "Who said that? Where did I see that?"
Well, you could be like Billy, scratching it on, notes and stuff everywhere. Or you maybe put it in your phone and have a log. It is hard to remember stuff when you're in this every day. Like, that's what I mean. Like, you're doing a show and stuff every day, and we're talking about it. We're looking at lines. We're looking at bets. It does get overwhelming. It does get confusing. And that's why it's good to talk to, guys like you and kind of get your thoughts in order. And hopefully people are listening and like it. But there's a lot going on. I mean, you haven't even touched the baseball surface yet. The Phillies are still in it. Did you see the Phillies game last night?
Of course I saw it. I was having trouble going to sleep after that 7-run lead blown last night.
Josh, I finished the show. So I'm on Sports Grid and Sirius XM every day from 4 to 7 Pacific, which is 7 to 10 Eastern.
Right.
I finished the show. I got the Phillies.
First pitch.
Boom. We're good. We're going. We're rolling. It's 7-0. Now, I was tired, and I'm a little bit older now, 52, so I got to take naps. So I said, you know what? Before I go deal with all the women in my house, I'm going to close my eyes here for a minute. It was 7-0 Phillies. I didn't sleep that long, Josh. I woke up, I swear, like 2 innings later. It was 12-7.
Yes, it was.
The first 5, it was the top of the 4th, and it was 7-0 when my eyes closed. That's an easy win right there, first 5.
You would think.
No, it's not. Not only is it not easy, you lose by 5. I can't remember the last time that happened, if ever. It's ridiculous.
I just hope that this is a learning experience for Rob Thompson to have the visual understanding of knowing when your guy is out of bullets. Like, it was becoming obvious to me watching on TV. I'm not a baseball manager. I never played in the major leagues. I don't, Thompson's been coaching in major league sport for 30 years, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I could see that Ranger Suarez was out of steam. He just was out of gas.
Done.
He had nothing at the end, but Thompson just kept him out there. And it was 7-2 and 7-4 and 7-5 and 7-6. And I'm just sitting there thinking, he's just leaving him out there. He's letting him suffer. He's killing his guy.
They don't want to burn a bullpen. Always hear that situation. We got to get
Yeah, well, the problem is that
to get the decision. Like
you burned it anyway because you brought in Sanchez and he imploded too. So it didn't matter at that point.
Yeah. Well, what do you think today? You come back on them today? I mean,
They
the
win.
natural inclination in the book, for a lot of people that maybe don't bet every day, but they look at the scores from yesterday and they go, oh man, the Phillies lost. The game went way over. So they're going to come in and bet the Diamondbacks in the over today. I like the Phillies in the under. This is why you have Nola on the team.
Mm-hmm.
He's the guy who you hand the ball to and say, I need 7 2/3 from you tonight, 2 runs or less. Let's go. And you hand him the ball and do it. So the danger in the game going over is that the Phillies light them up again. Phillies bats are hitting. I mean,
yeah,
they beat bad teams and they hit. They score runs. So I like Phillies today. I think you're getting a bargain on them at let's take a consensus look here real quick. -125 is probably the consensus. I see a -130. There's another book that's even a -140. So, yeah, I like the Phillies today, Josh. I'm not afraid to say it. I'm not even going to take a nap today either. I'm going to watch the game.
Here's my prediction.
All right.
I think the Phillies win the next 2, so they'll win the series in Arizona.
Okay.
Because Falter has been pretty good in his last few starts as well.
All right.
I think they lose Friday night because it's on Apple TV Plus, and they've lost every one of those streaming platform games except for one this year.
Really?
Yes.
You're handicapping it by whether they're on Apple TV or not?
Yes. I'm going to use anything in my arsenal, Dave.
Continue, sir.
Information is power, my friend. Okay. I have no idea about Saturday because you have 2 pitchers going on Saturday who are Jekyll and Hyde, Syndergaard and Jonas. I mean, those guys.
Over. That sounds like over to me.
I don't know who wins. I can't tell you who's going to win.
Yeah, sometimes you can just bet the total. That's the beauty of baseball betting.
Yeah. So, and then Sunday after Ranger just imploded against Arizona, you got Rendon going for the Giants. So, I think they win the Arizona series. I'm not as confident about the Giants series.
We still feeling good about making a playoff reservation for the Phillies as of right
now. Oh, they're in the postseason. I'll guarantee that. Because they're going to come home.
Guarantee? Did you say guarantee?
They got a 6-game series coming up at home. 6-game homestand. 3 against Miami, 3 against Washington. They hit the road again. They play on Miami 3 more times. If you can't win that stretch, then you don't deserve to be in the postseason.
Wow. All right. That sounds like a good 9-game stretch right there. Is that 6-3 or better?
Oh, probably. Yeah.
Okay.
6-3 or better.
All right.
Because you know what you got after that? You got Atlanta for 3, Toronto for 2, Atlanta for 4 more. So you better win those games.
All right. So 6 is the number. It goes over, you win. It goes under, I win. And 6 is a push. Well, we keep track of that on. Make a note there for Billy when he comes in and stuff. We'll keep a tally sheet. Text me every day. 1-0, 1-1, 2-1, 3-1. When it gets to 6, then we'll have a really interesting sweat. We just did it right there. What's so funny?
Just the way you laid it out was perfect.
That's what we do.
I'm just surprised you didn't change your hat again there either, though. But
sticking with the Penn State hat, Josh. You get 2 hats on this hit. That's it.
Oh,
I don't want to put another one on.
For those who don't know,
Mets tonight.
Yeah,
Josh. The Mets are going to beat the Dodgers tonight. We're going to hear the trumpets. Tommy Trumpet is in the stadium. He said he's playing it live for Diaz if there's a save situation. Theater, baseball's romantic. It's very romantic if you go to my Twitter feed and see what I just tweeted before. I mean, it got a little bit crazy up there in Toronto. Talk about romance.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
That's like the 2nd or 3rd time that's happened too. Like, what's going on in Toronto? Like, do people not have apartments to go to?
Apparently not, Josh. I don't know. I mean, there's like 5,000 people total at the game in Oakland, and they went and did it, the thing up there. And now somebody caught somebody else doing it in Toronto. I don't know what's going on. I have no idea. I've never been at a baseball game, and it never occurred to me to even try to do that. I have no idea. Want to watch the game.
I'm there to watch the game, or I'm there to hang out with my friends,
Yeah, have a hot dog, maybe a couple, drinks, some popcorn, peanuts. I love peanuts. I mean, I don't know what these people are thinking.
I don't get it either. Man. Dave Sharapan, Sportsbook Consigliere at SportsBK Consig. Cash considerations, Bostonian versus the book. You're over on MLB Network. Anything else you got going on this week we need to know about?
We might be doing hits on Better Sports Network as well. BETTOR. That's a new sports network that is popping up, and might be appearing as a somewhat regular contributor there as well. We're still working out the details. Everybody's getting ready for football season, Josh. It snuck up on a lot of people. Like, we didn't know that the first game was Thursday. I don't understand how that happens, but we're here.
You're preaching to the choir, my friend. Dave, always good seeing you. I'll see you again on Saturday. I'm sure we'll talk before then.
I can't wait. Go Phillies.
Go Phillies. Arizona tonight versus Arizona.
Monday.
Dave, always good to see you. Josh Hennig here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN. We'll wrap up the show on the other side.
College football on ESPN Radio.
You and we are built for this. Georgia has won the national championship.
Defending national champion Georgia jumps right into the fire in a Week 1 showdown against Bo Nix and their Oregon Ducks. Coverage begins Saturday at 3:30 Eastern. Listen every Saturday for the nation's top college football action on 97.3 ESPN, South Jersey's football station.
New Jersey car owners, with interest rates rising, the current value of your trade is about to plummet. So drive directly to Matt Blatt Nissan because AJ the Trade Man needs your trade.
Oh yeah, it's on at Matt Blatt Nissan.
So cash in your vehicle now before it's too late and drive home in a new Nissan today with 0 down and 0 payments for 90 days and 1.9% financing for 36 months on every new Nissan in stock or en route. Just because you don't see your new Nissan on the lot doesn't mean you can't drive it home tomorrow. New 2022 Nissan Armada. Get $5,000 off MSRP, $61,885, and drive away with peace of mind with Matt Blatt Nissan's 4-day love it or leave it return policy. MattBlattNissan.com. Negative equity will be refinanced into new vehicle. Interest accrues from date of sale. Not all will qualify. MSRP $61,875. VIN N9677-417. Offers can't be combined. Call 877-289-6670 or go to MattBlattNissan.com for complete details. Offer ends 9/4/22. It's on at Matt Blatt Nissan on the Black Horse Pike, Egg Harbor Township.
You can't get much for $5 these days, unless you go to Wendy's for a $5 biggie bag. Get your choice of double stack, junior bacon cheeseburger, or crispy chicken BLT, plus 4-piece nugs, fries, and a drink, all for just $5.
You got that bag. You got that biggie bag. You got that bag.
That was smooth, wasn't it? That's how you're going to feel when you get that biggie bag at Wendy's.
U.S. price and participation may vary. Includes 4-piece nuggets, small soft drink, and small fry. Prices may be higher in Alaska and Hawaii.
Ask Sherwin-Williams during the Endless Summer Sale, August 26th through September 5th, and get 30% off paints and stains with prices starting at $29.39. That means 30% off our most popular color family, blue. Psychologists have found it to be soothing and relaxing, which makes it especially great for bedrooms and bathrooms. And of course, 30% off all of our other colors. Shop the sale online or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Explore Banana Republic Factory now and enjoy 50% off everything from heritage classics to new arrivals for the season. Discover essential styles from $24.99. Find your nearest store or shop online only at Banana Republic Factory.
COVID-19 moves fast, and now you can too. If you feel symptoms, even if they're mild, you should test fast. Test positive and at high risk for severe COVID-19? Then act fast with authorized oral treatments that can be taken at home and must be taken within 5 days from when symptoms begin. COVID-19 moves fast, and now you can too by asking your healthcare provider if an oral treatment is right for you. Learn about a treatment option at treatcv19.com. This message is sponsored by Pfizer.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Thinking about gas mileage. An oil change with quality oil like Castrol Edge Full Synthetic can help your engine get more out of every tank. Right now, you can get 5 quarts with an STP Extended Life oil filter for only $37.99. Get what you need for better fuel efficiency at any of our 6,200 stores or on AutoZone.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Go to get your game on at the Gallery Bar Booking Games in Ocean Casino Resort this football season. Cheers your favorite drinks while cheering on your favorite team. Get in on the parlay while in the middle of a party. Go for the sports scene and go for the endless screens. Go to the Gallery. Go to Ocean. Go for the win. For more information, visit theoceanac.com. Must be 21 or older to wager or consume alcohol. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
If you have a small business, Staples has your sign.
Banners for my bakery?
Staples has your sign.
Oh, posters for my new pet store.
Floor decals for a pharmacy.
Every day, Staples associates help every kind of small business create bold signs to make big impressions. And now get $10 off custom signs, banners, and posters when you spend $50 or more. This is your sign, so print it big at Staples. Ends 10/1. Visit staplesconnect.com/thisisyoursign for details.
On the south side, we got 6 poly panels, and please make sure they're flush.
Kwame is converting everyone on the block to solar power.
Please get a crew to wrap up 202 South Dwayne.
He needs more certified installers before the sun sets on his business boom.
Let's pick up the pace. We got a long day.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. You're driving along and some nimrod cuts you off. You hit the horn. Jeez, it sounds like a goose in distress. Time to head over to eBay Motors. They have horns for every make and model, not to mention horn pads, steering wheels, wiring, and more. 122 million parts. You can even go for an upgrade. It looks like Mr. Cutoff Man needs a new seat cover. Try eBay Motors, pal. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors. Let's ride.
When a nasty cold keeps you up all night, Vicks NyQuil Severe gives you powerful relief from your worst cold and flu symptoms, which changes a night that sounds like this into a night that sounds more like this. Ah, that's better. NyQuil Severe. The nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, sore throat, stuffy head, aching, fever, best sleep with a cold medicine. Use as directed.
Get Labor Day savings at Lowe's. Buy one, get one 50% off select HGTV Home by Sherwin-Williams Paint and Cabot Exterior Stains via rebate. And save on Lowe's exclusive Stainmaster laminate flooring starting at $269 per square foot. It's 3 times wear resistant and backed by a lifetime limited warranty. Shop Labor Day savings now at Lowe's. Stainmaster claims compared to standard residential grade laminate. See warranty at Lowe's.com/Stainmaster. Conditions and exclusions apply. See store Lowe's.com for paint details and restrictions. While supplies last. Offer valid to 9/7.
At Churches, we put it all on the table for less. Get 10-piece legs and thighs, 2 large size, 5 honey butter biscuits, and 5 jalapeno peppers starting at just $20. Churches Texas Chicken. Welcome to the great state of flavor. Offer valid at participating locations.
I'm Mike Mackler. At Goldenberg Mackler, we represent you, not the insurance companies. When seriously injured in any type of accident, call us. We'll speak with you for free and fight to get you the money you deserve. When injured, make the right call to Goldenberg Mackler.
For the best lawyer, call Goldenberg Mackler. With 4 convenient locations to better serve you: Atlantic City, Northfield, Rio Grande, and Vineland. Call us at 609-344-7131.
Now, more Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
All right, wrapping up the show a little long with Sharapan. It's always good to talk to him. Man, it's a crazy time of year. He's right. You know, there's nothing more true than what Dave said before he got off. The people who are surprised that football is back. Like, you saw the calendar, you knew it was coming, and you got surprised by it? I mean, literally, I got people wondering about fantasy football drafts and trying to organize all that stuff. And I'm like, you knew the football season was coming. Like, you're acting like it's a surprise. I didn't know there was – I literally was out last weekend, and someone turned to me and said, I didn't know football was back. And I said, I don't know what to tell you, man. I live this stuff. It's my job. I know it's back, but if you don't, I don't know what to tell you. This is 97.3 ESPN next time.
We get it. You're not going to work just anywhere. You're smart, you're ambitious, and you want to help others. You want a place where you can thrive, feel fulfilled, and have an opportunity for growth, all while making an incredible living. Right now is the perfect time to join the team at Town Square Media as a marketing consultant. Join one of the fastest growing digital companies in America where you get to help build client solutions with real local influencers and sell brands like TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube. If this sounds exciting to you, let's have a conversation. Our comp package is amazing with unlimited earning potential, including base salary, mobile phone, auto expense, 401k match, trip incentives, and more. If you're competitive, driven, and have the ability to communicate great ideas, we'd love to hear from you. With digital advertising expected to double over the next 3 years, the timing could not be better. Reach out to Mike Rubel, Market President, at 609-910-5249 or visit careers.townsquaremedia.com. Townsquare Media is an equal opportunity employer.